Firstly, we are very glad to invite Dr. Hongpeng Liu from United Nations Escaper, Thailand. He will talk something about the enhancing energy security for greener, more realistic, decent, and inclusive energy future. So please, Dr. Liu.
Thank you very much, Professor Xue. Thank you for the invitation. I also want to thank Professor Yan for this opportunity. Originally we planned to have this meeting in Bangkok, but because we find the opportunity to bring this to Bangkok, I really see this is a privilege. Conference with experts and also professors. So we hope also through this we can have a kind of collaboration with this like conference. And I would like to share something, as Professor Xue already mentioned, talk about how to enhance the regional cooperation, especially focus on the energy security and also the address to the green from this pandemic. Just I'll go through it quickly. I hope you can see this. And the title of my presentation is Enhance Energy Security for Greener, More Resilient and Inclusive Energy Future. Since I'm working for the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and Pacific, which is one of the 5 regional commissions from UN Secretariat based in Bangkok. We are looking after 53 member countries in Asia Pacific and plus 9 associate members. And as Professor Xue just mentioned, how to bring your good ideas to the policymakers. I think probably ESCAP could be one of the platform you can use, since we have 3 main responsibilities from ESCAP. One is the intergovernmental platform for regional cooperation. We cover social, economic, and environment, all the 3 pillars for sustainable development. And at the same time, we also provide the capacity building for member countries. And also lastly, we provide the knowledge product. That's mainly the studies and also some kind of seminars to provide this support for the member countries. So my presentation, I will focus on what's going on in Asia and Pacific, especially along this COVID-19 pandemic. Like Professor Xue already mentioned, a lot of impact for the global level, but I also want to share with you what is the impact for Asia Pacific, and especially for the SDG 7 progress, that is mainly focused on energy. Secondly, the priority area for building back better in the region and how regional cooperation can support this. As you know, in Asia Pacific or the global level, even the SDG Sustainable Development Goals was agreed by the leaders in 2015 in the Global Sustainable Summit, and it adopted this 17 Sustainable Development Goals and also this Agenda for Sustainable Development 2030 Agenda. So this is a guiding kind of principles for overall how to achieve the sustainable development globally. And for specifically for energy, there's goals for affordable and clean energy. SDG 7 covers 3 targets: universal access, which include both access to electricity and also clean cooking. And secondly, renewable energy. And the third one is energy efficiency. So we see SDG 7 is the key enabler for all the SDGs. It's the important link to all the SDGs, the 17 SDGs. If you look at the interlinkages of SDG 7, it's a key enabler for all the SDG development, and it will influence both energy demand and the supply. If you look at the transport, ICT, education, and also climate change and waste management, food, agriculture, health, education, all this are linked with energy. So that is what we are doing now under the 2030 agenda. And we cover both the SDG 7 and also the Paris Agreement, especially to support member countries to deliver their commitment under the Paris Agreement on the NDCs. So recently we did some kind of analysis about the current situation or the progress for SDG 7 in Asia and Pacific. You know, since 2015, 5 years already gone. So what's going on here in the region? And what is the main issues? What is the priorities we have to address these challenges? So if you look at the energy access, the access to electricity in Asia Pacific, we still have over 200 million population without access to electricity, and 1.8 billion without access to clean cooking. That means a lot of women and children suffer from indoor air pollution because this cooking, with the traditional biomass. And also renewable energy is only 8% of the total, final energy consumption. Although this is data for 2017, we will just update by end of the year with the data for 2018, but there are not too much changes. And also the energy intensity is 5.2 megajoule per US dollars by this price of 2017. So if we reach the target, we need the average 2.6 declining from 2010 to 2030. So that means a big challenge for the whole region to reach to this. As Professor Xu already mentioned, the COVID-19 also brings a great impact for the socio-economic sectors globally, and also for the Asia Pacific, in particular, the developing countries in Asia Pacific. Most countries experience the contraction in GDP growth. So if you look at this table from the developing Asia, from the ASEAN, and also from Middle East and Central Asia. So this is really the big changes. If you look at 2020, it's all minus. So that is what we really don't want to see this continue. So this is really the millions of people, potentially pushed into extreme kind of poverty. If you look at the chart, the underneath left, 1.9 daily US dollars, that means, almost 50 million population, pushed back to the extreme poverty. So this is really the negative one impact from COVID-19. There's also big job losses in many countries, to have this kind of negative impact. And if you look at, the overall impact for energy sector, especially the impact, because the full lockdown, there's an average 25 decline in energy demand per week in the countries, partially locked down, and average is 18. Fully locked down is 25% per week, and the 18% decline for for those partially locked down, and also the global demand for coal and oil gas all declining. So electricity demand dropped quickly, like the Sunday level. Like Sunday, everyone has holidays off from their work. So that's almost usually we have this Sunday demand. So almost all investment has this kind of challenges for disruptions and for lockdown, and also the supply chain disruption. So against this background, in May, during our commission, we have an annual commission, which is all the ministers from Asia Pacific to meet each other to just decide the directions for regional cooperation. But this year, we also organize our annual ministerial commission virtually in Bangkok. And the only discussion is how this region can address these challenges through regional cooperation. So that is, identify 4 priorities area by this ministerial declaration. The first one is the most important one in April, in May, is protecting people from COVID-19. Secondly, to ensure economic recovery. Third one is restoring and building resilience for supply chain and connectivity. Finally, protecting and restoring the economic system. So this is exactly the priorities the region agreed to move forward. And in terms of the energy sector, so these are the three priorities we identified: the clean cooking and the electricity access and the renewable energy. That's exactly we see from my previous slide. This current status is far away from the target required by SDG 7 by 2030. So from SCAP side, how we just support this? Like I mentioned earlier, we have this mandate to support the information sharing, knowledge sharing. Secondly, to support the sustainable development through these policy dialogues and also exchange of experiences from different countries and also South-South cooperation. And the third one is the connectivity through regional cooperation, especially the connectivity for power grid. That's one of our priorities at the moment. And I'll share with you one of our work we do at the country level. We support the country to develop SDG 7 roadmap. We call it the next step. Actually, this is the next step we call the National Expert SDG tool for energy planning. So this will develop different scenarios based on the business as usual and the policy scenarios and also SDG 7 scenarios, as well as the NDC scenarios. How this will support the country, what kind of methodologies and what kind of policies you need, how much investment you need, what kind of technologies available. So this is really to continue this kind of work at the national level. We just launched our roadmap for SDG 7 in Indonesia yesterday with the participation of their energy minister and also their minister for Bappenas for the planning and the development. So this is the one contribution at the country level. We're also working with the other 10 countries to do the similar thing. So I really think that through this, we will support our member countries to work together to achieve SDG 7. And the next example is we support the regional cooperation for a roadmap for power grid connectivity. As you know, energy connectivity is covered to different forms like oil, gas pipelines, and also power grid. So we start with the power grid to go with the regional roadmap on power grid connectivity. So we hopefully, by end of the year, we will have a regional roadmap, our connectivity, with the aim to increase more renewables into the power grid. So finally, I just want to share with you how we work at the UN to support this low carbon and the green. As Secretary General Guterres already priorities for him. One is ending fossil fuel subsidies. Secondly, placing a price on carbon pollution. And third one is committing to no new coal power plant after 2020. Actually, he met with all the head of the delegates in G20 and also in different high-level meetings. These are the three areas that he always. And in the UN, we also prepare, as to support the member countries, we have a different institutional mechanism. Like every year, there's a high-level political forum in New York to review the progress of SDGs. And we also have a UN Energy Network, which compressed, connected all the UN agencies to support the energy. There's also a technical advisory group. And I think through this kind of collaboration, the UN will ready to provide the support for member countries to achieve SDG 7 and also other SDGs and also the Paris Agreement. I will conclude my presentation here. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Liu. It's a very impressive report and presentation. And we know a lot about the United Nations plan and how to help countries, especially developing countries, to do economic growth and renewable energy. We have a discussion time, so we may leave questions and comments in that time. So next, will please let me invite Professor Xunpeng Shi